Hey guys, Caleb's Cards here, coming at you with a special midweek episode for you today. It's actually going to be going through some of the World War II autographs that Scott Masters at Crestwood Preparatory College sent me. He does interviews with World War II veterans and other veterans as well from Canada, United States, even outside the U.S. and Canada, and just interviews them for his class, his history class. And you can also check out the links down below to his Facebook site as well as his website. You can see some old interviews of his that he's done and recent ones that he's uploaded. So it's pretty fun. He does come on the Veterans Breakfast Club, which I will also try and remember to post a link down below. Some of these people have also been on there as well. And so he sent me a whole bunch at one time of some World War II veterans that he got through the Sunnybrook Veterans Wing, which is a retirement home and caretaking home for many advanced aged World War II veterans from Canada. And so I thought I'd go through three of them and read about them and show you their autographs and the pictures. So this first lady is Gertrude, and I think I'm going to butcher her last name, Beharil, I think. She's also known as Bibi. So there you can see her today with some of his class and some of the old photos when she was serving. So she was born on April 20th, 1920 in the small town of Campbellford, Ontario. She was one of 7 children and was the middle child with 3 older siblings and 3 younger siblings. During the Great Depression, she and her family were hit just like everyone else, but because they had a farm, they were able to have food on the table, but it was still hard to do with a family of 9. She played regular kid things such as tag and going to the movies, but when the war came, she and her 16-year-old younger sibling joined with hope in their hearts. Gertrude was trained as a nurse for 3 years. Later, after graduating, she was transferred to England, where she would serve in the No. 4 General Canadian Hospital. She saw and performed many tasks during the war, and it didn't help that she was sent just before D-Day. She cared for the wounded men and comforted them during her free time. She cared about them and had a big heart during a terrible war. After the war, she took a job in Bermuda as a nurse, but a few months later came back home to Toronto, taking a post-war operating room management course. Like the many Canadians of her generation, she returned and went to work, transforming Canada along the way. She now lives happily in Sunnybrook Veterans Wing. So again here, and that's her autograph. So 102 years old. Definitely does not look 102. So that's really awesome. Then we have Mr. Morris Adams. So you can see he was able to join their class via Zoom. Not all of these are from the Sunnybrook, by the way. But Morris Adams was born July 22nd, 1926 in Toronto, Ontario. So he's going to be 96 years old. He grew up in downtown Toronto in the Spadina and Dundas neighborhood that was home to many new immigrants, including Morris's parents. His father was a barber, and his mother worked in a garment factory, and the family was able to make it through the tough years of the Depression. When the war came, Morris was starting his grade 9 year at Harvard Collegiate, so Morris High School years took place against the backdrop of the war. Though it was hardly the only thing in Morris's sights, the war impacted him directly only in 1945, when he was conscripted and reported to Camp Borden. Morris arrived in April and began training, but the war was over the next month. The Army kept him in for a while, helping with the mountain of paperwork that marked the end of the war. Soon enough, he was back to civilian life, ready to play his part in Canada's post-war boom. So he did not necessarily have to go over, but he was still, in case the war had continued on, he still would have gone on the fight. But still consider him a World War II veteran. And finally, we don't have his picture, but we have Mr. Richard Dodds, who was born on November 22nd, 1925 in Toronto, Ontario. He grew up in the city's West End, where he attended Humber Park Public School and later Humberside Collegiate, where he played sports in all seasons. His father raised horses, racing was popular in interwar Toronto, so the family was insulated from the worst impacts of the Depression. When the war came, Richard waited until it was his time, or so he thought. He tried to volunteer for the RCAF, so that's the Royal Canadian Air Force, when he was underage. Asked to return the next day, he did, but to no avail. He learned about an opportunity in the Navy and thought he would look into that. Quickly, he found himself in the Royal Navy, attached to the Fleet Air Arm, where he hoped to be a pilot attached to an aircraft carrier. He was sent to Halifax and then overseas. Training ensued in England and Scotland as his flying skills were put to the test, and Richard was assigned to a base in northern Scotland. He would spend his war flying patrols of the North Sea and Norwegian coasts, monitoring German battleships in the fjords. He remembers it as not terribly exciting, but it was part of the Grand Allied strategy, intended to keep German forces away from Normandy and the fighting in the south. Richard enjoyed his time in Scotland, and he returned on subsequent occasions long after VE Day. The war over, Richard was back to civilian life, ready to play his part in Canada's post-war boom. So again, there is his signature. So 3 Canadian World War II veterans that perhaps you would not otherwise would have heard about or been able to see. So I do hope you enjoy this episode. I still got quite a decent stack here. It's probably another 12 or 15 or so there that we can do another video on. So hope you enjoyed. Also, I do have a Civil War autograph. Let me know if you're interested. If you want me to do a second episode on just one autograph, it'll probably be a quick one. But if you want me to do one, I can definitely do so. I've tried bidding on some and have lost on all of them, and I only got one. So if that's something that's of interest to you, I can do a Civil War video someday soon. Otherwise, I can wait till we get a couple more. Maybe make it more worthwhile. But other than that, that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. And thank you again, Scott, for these autographs. So really appreciate it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.